Hello. We're the bloody Kinks.
Dave was a trendsetter. He was when it comes to from fashion to creating an entire new way of playing rock and roll. Really, he created. Some people credit him to birthing heavy metal. And yeah, I mean, without Dave, the Kinks would have a lot less flavour and a lot less of what made them unique, really. I always loved Blur. I always loved the way I grew up with Oasis and Blur, and I also grew up with the Kinks playing in my household because my dad was a huge fan. So I always thought they were the same kind of band, really. I didn't really know that there was much difference. You know, when you're a kid and don't really think about the artists that are making it, you just think about the sounds that you're hearing. I just, I could always hear the Kinks in so many bands. So yeah, it wasn't a huge surprise because I was already accustomed to them. But since doing it, yeah, I mean, you can just go deeper and deeper with the Kinks. Really, their back catalogue is massive. You could make several shows out of their albums. So yeah, I mean, they're phenomenal. They're a huge influence, and I think people probably do these days underestimate the influence that they had. Really, just the way that time has that way of moving on. But they had a huge influence, and they still do. Yeah, they took over the world for a little bit, and they weren't ready for it. They were not schooled in how to deal with the big money men of the world, and things came crashing down, and in a classic kind of a tale as old as time, really. These days people have, musicians are able to sort of make themselves into their own record company and take care of their own management, and they're really bolstered by that. But back in the day, the Kinks were sort of guinea pigs, really. I've spent most of my music career tuning my own guitars and snapping strings and having to fix them mid-set, and suddenly someone just comes on and gives you a guitar all fixed and clean and shiny. And you get to play these songs, which are honestly some of my favorite songs of all time anyway. So it's a privilege. And to play a real person like Dave is a privilege. He's a wonderful, wonderful spirit. What made them so special was, in a way, what drove them apart in so many ways. Suddenly all is forgiven, really, when you're suddenly writing songs as good as the Kinks did. But maybe they wouldn't have been able to write them if they didn't have the sort of tempestuous relationship that they did. But we really go there and we give that, anyone who has a sibling or anyone who knows about families and the complexities of families, we put a magnifying glass on it. And what bigger magnifying glass than being a huge sort of global rock band, than to put strain on relationships between brothers, so it's got a lot going. Doing this tour is just a beautiful thing. I've never done a UK tour before, but getting to see the different spaces that we have in this country is really exciting. And yeah, that one's a gig venue. We're playing a lot of theatre venues, which also have their own beauty to them. The play kind of comes to life in that space. But yeah, the gig venues is really where it's going to be able to handle the kind of sound that we're doing. We're playing it really loud at times, a volume that the Kinks need to be played at. So yeah, that'd be good. Honestly, amazing. Like coming home. I've never actually played at the Millennium Centre, but it's a phenomenal space. Incredible. I can't wait. My whole family is going to come, I hope. Are you coming? Come on. Well, I arrived in Heath Hospital in Cardiff City as a very new human in a hospital. And then I grew up in the streets of Pennylan and Roath, and I went to St. Tyler's High School, and I played very bad rugby there. And then I eventually went to art college, and I left and went to Liverpool. And my family are all still in Cardiff, and that's where my roots are. Yeah, I mean, Stereophonics were my first awakening as a teenage boy. Word Gets Around album. Suddenly hearing a band singing about their hometown and where they're from and their roots, and they were so authentically them. And I suppose, Wales creates work that's about itself, and is unique. It's unique. It's Welsh. And yeah, we've got the Manics. We've got loads and loads of great musicians, great writers. So Yeah, I mean, you just feed off each other, don't you? And you want to be the next thing. So me and my partner, we created a theatre company called Neon Candle, and so far we created a show called Dance to the Bone, which was at Sherman Theatre, and it's gig theatre. Gig theatre is sort of quite a popular concept now, I suppose. But it was, we set out to sort of make theatre out of our music. You know, we're initially, first and foremost, a band. We've released about 4 EPs, and there was always a narrative to them, and we just decided to push into theatre and just try to bridge that gap between a real gig, the way a gig feels, but to have narrative in it, and to sort of embrace the best sides of theatre and nightlife music venues. So far we have Dance to the Bone under our belt, which was created with the wonderful Joe Murphy directing, and we're writing. It's a hard thing to try and find things that really mean something these days, and what the world needs. So we're always seeking the next big idea. But the first one, Dance to the Bone, was a really good show. We hope to find the money to do it again. I went on stage there for the first time when I was about 4, I think, with a school outing, and Sherman was a huge part of my life, and it's this new writing place really to be in Cardiff, and it's got a really good energy. You know, really, it's a little warm hub really for, you know, if you turn up there, you'll see people with their laptops writing the next thing. You know, it's a really good energy in that theatre. You need the rest of the country to see what Wales is. You have to be proud like that, and to demonstrate the wealth of what we have. I'm in Scotland at the moment with the tour, and Scotland has that in abundance, and Wales has that too. And you know, with Michael Sheen heading this, it's the beginning of a really exciting time. It's also about, I think, trying to reach out into England with maybe a little bit less sort of a self-consciousness to it, and just saying, this is what this is. We have this to offer, and it's not really about apologizing for it. And equally, it's probably not about being insecure about it, if that makes sense. It's an exciting time.
Makes me want to cry.
If you're not crying, you're probably deaf. But stick that on the poster. As long as I gaze on Waterloo sunset, I am in paradise.